Hello and welcome to Miss Dooley's classroom. Today's learning goal is to use various written strategies when multiplying. I've also included learning outcomes for teachers that wish to use this as a resource. One example of a written strategy for multiplication is multiplying using partial products. You can use place value to split the number you are multiplying into tens and ones to make it easier to solve. Draw a rectangle as I have done to represent your multiplication. For example, if your multiplication is 8 times 36, draw a rectangle 36 squares long and 8 squares wide as I have done. Split the rectangle into two sections. The first section will be 30 squares long and 8 squares wide, and the second section will be 6 squares long and 8 squares wide. Right in the centre of the green section, 8 times 30, and right in the centre of the red section, 6 times 8. To complete the partial products, we'll add them together. So, 8 times 30 plus 6 times 8 equals 240 plus 48. So our final answer, if we add those together, is 288. Have a go of your own example using multiplication using partial products. You can also use your knowledge of place value to split the number you are multiplying and complete the partial products without using grid paper. For example, if you have 4 times 284, you would do 4 times 200 plus 80 plus 4. So if we break that down, that's 4 times 200 plus 4 times 80 plus 4 times 4. Let's look at the brackets. 4 times 200 is 800. 4 times 80 is 320. And 4 times 4 is 16. And we add up our totals to bring us to 1,136. Now have a go using partial products without grid paper. Another written strategy for multiplication is multiplication using the grid method. You can also use partial products to multiply on a grid. For example, if I had 97 times, I can use my place value knowledge to partition 97 into 90 and 7 and write both numbers in the green squares in the top row. Then I'll write my second number, 5, in the green square in the left column. Now I'll calculate 5 times 7, and 5 times 7 is 35. And I'll write the product in the bottom right white square. Now I'll calculate 5 times 90 and write the product in the bottom left white square. And 5 times 90 is 450. And now I need to add the products together to find the product of 97 times 5. So 450 plus 35 equals 485. So 97 times 5 is 485. See if you can have a go using multiplication in a grid method. Another written strategy for multiplication is multiplying using vertical setup. You can use your understanding of partial products to multiply using vertical algorithms. For example, if I have 64 times 5, I need to look at my ones. 4 ones times 5 ones equals 20 ones. And I need to ensure that I write my numerals from right to left in the correct place value. In the next step, I need to multiply 5 ones by 6 tens. And 5 ones by 6 tens is 300. Again, I need to write from right to left using the correct place value. And finally, I add my ones and my tens and my hundreds. So 0 plus 0 is of course 0, 2 plus 0 is 2, and 3 plus nothing is 3, which leaves me with 320. Do you think you could try multiplying using the vertical setup? Another written strategy for multiplication is multiplying using the formal algorithm. So in the example 64 times 5, I look in the ones column and I can see 4 ones times 5 ones, which we know equals 20. 20 ones doesn't fit in the ones column, so we need to put down the 0 ones and carry the 2 tens into the tens column. In the next step, I multiply 6 tens times 5 and carry over those 2 tens. So 6 times 5 is 30, and adding on the 2 extra tens is 32 tens. So I put down my 2 tens and carry over my 3 into the hundreds column, and I'm left with 320. Which method did you prefer, the vertical setup or formal algorithm method?